Hi, I'm Tarun Mathur, the Chief Technology Officer at Indegene. I've spent over 2 decades working with large pharma organizations to transform digital processes at the intersection of healthcare and technology. Joining me is Emmanuel Puginier, who I consider a true expert in global delivery center models and strategy. Emmanuel has led the transformation programs across some of the largest pharma organizations globally and brings deep insights into how GCCs can drive not just efficiency, but real strategic value. Together, we're going to unpack how GenAI is changing the way that pharma GCCs are being built, operated, and scaled. Let's dive into episode 1 of this series, where we understand what really sets pharma GCCs apart from general purpose GCCs. And Emmanuel, it's great to connect with you, and let's dive into the basics here. We've been thinking about how pharma GCCs are different from general purpose GCCs, especially due to the complexities of regulatory requirements and some of the more complex scientific processes that we have to run. What's your take? What makes pharma GCCs different than the rest?
Well, you're spot on, Tarun. The differences are stark. For starters, pharma GCCs handle far more complex and unstructured data. Things like clinical trial results, real-world evidence, and medical publications, as well as a slew of information generated through interactions with various customer groups. That is a different ballgame compared to structured data flows in finance or HR functions in general GCCs. Also, regulatory compliance is not a layer. It is foundational. Every system, every workflow needs built-in auditability. Besides, structurally, pharma GCCs support specialized domains like medical affairs, regulatory affairs, pharmacovigilance, which means the talent here must have deep scientific, medical, and clinical knowledge. And from an operational standpoint, they are no longer just efficiency machines. They are evolving into innovation hubs, especially with the rise of GenAI.
So that's a big shift. And so considering all those factors, especially the regulatory intensity, the drive with innovation, and GenAI coming into the picture, this is not just a tweak to existing GCC models. We're talking about a fundamental reshaping. So how do you see that playing that out? Is it really a reshaping of the way that these are actually designed and organized, or do we actually just see some bolt-ons to existing GCCs that get to what pharma needs?
Absolutely. Everything has to be audit ready. 21 CFR Part 11 compliance, pharmacovigilance standards, medical accuracy. You cannot afford shortcuts. That drives a need for deeper specialization. Functions like regulatory affairs, medical affairs, and safety require scientifically trained talent, often PhDs or MDs.
So we're talking about very specialized operations, right? These are not only do we have to worry about scale, but precision along the way. All of those concerns, especially things like building a 21 compliant audit trail, that is a level of precision that's mandatory. So we're really looking at truly specialized type of operations here.
Exactly. In fact, regulations and scientific rigor force pharma companies to centralize and standardize. These industry-wide dynamics work in favor of GCC setups, which enable pharma companies to fully leverage their global scale and facilitate global traceability. But more importantly, these centralized hubs are no longer cost centers. They are innovation enablers. Teams are freed up from repetitive tasks and can focus on higher value initiatives. And that is key for innovation to spread more rapidly across an organization.
Yeah, I agree. And at Indegene, we've seen the same type of discussion happening with our customer base as well. 10 years ago, they were asking us about cost efficiency in their structures and operations, but now it's all about strategic capabilities. How do you bring in AI? How do you bring in advanced analytics and scientific content creation capabilities and bring that scale and precision with new models today? So I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, pharma GCCs are evolving into innovation engines. They're no longer just about efficiency, they are about driving differentiated value and competitive advantage.
Yeah. So this is a big transformation for sure, and certainly one that sets pharma apart from other industries running shared services. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your thoughts here. And to our audience, take a look at our next episode where we get into how GenAI is impacting the workflows in global pharma operations.